This is part 2 of a 2-part weekly news episode. For part 1, just head back in your feed, and for part 2, I'm covering Real Housewives of Miami, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Real Housewives of Orange County, Southern Hospitality, Next Gen NYC. So lock in for a whole bunch of news from all of those shows. And if you're looking for the Valley, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Vanderpump Rules, just head over for part 1 because the news for that is over there. I am also doing recaps for the Valley reunions over on my Patreon. So if you are interested in that, head to patreon.com/Bravo and Botox. You can get all sorts of bonus content. You can also buy individual episodes or subscribe monthly. All right, everyone, enjoy part 2. Welcome to the Bravo Papers, a safe space for all us Bravo fans who love to analyze, deconstruct, and talk about our favorite Bravo shows ad nauseum. So join me, Bravo and Botox, and we'll catch up on all the Bravo news and read way too much into our favorite shows and Bravo celebrities. Okay, everyone, let's get into some Real Housewives of Orange County because we got some news from there. On virtual reality, Tamra says that she was thinking, in terms of Gretchen's return, she was thinking that we would get a different Gretchen now and a more mature Gretchen. You know, she's a mom and all that. But Tamra says, nope, she's just the same person. Tamara also notes that the show has changed drastically in terms of social media and all that kind of stuff, but Gretchen has not changed, or I guess the implication is that she has not like adapted for what the show is now. I don't know. I mean, Gretchen's pretty active on social media. We all see her pictures all the time with no nose on them. But I got to say, Tamara, you have also not changed. Like, I just, like, what? Tamara, you can say it until you're blue in the face, okay? I've changed. I'm going to therapy. I'm this, I'm that. You have not changed. You are the same. The baptism did nothing. The therapy did nothing. You have not changed. The divorce from your first husband, none of those things changed you. So I don't know what you want me to say. And listen, Gretchen, it doesn't really matter. Like, we didn't want her on the show because she's changed. I think people wanted her on the show to call you on some of your bullshit. And that's kind of what she's done. And I think that's all we were kind of looking for from Gretchen. I'm not looking for like, I'm not like, oh, you know, Gretchen's coming on. She's going to be the wise sage who's going to guide us all. Like, no one thinks that. No one thinks that. Okay. That's it. Meanwhile, Shannon was on Watch What Happens Live. And they asked Shannon about her being so upset about being recorded by Katie when she has meltdowns on camera every season. Her response is that last year she only got upset once. Okay. Um and that she had a good reason to. And then Andy was not having this. He looks at her and he's like, "Shannon." And then everyone starts cracking up and she's like, "What?" And then she's like, "I think I've gotten much better, much less reactive." Okay, keep telling it. See, this is why Shannon's a good housewife. There's no self-reflection. There's no change. There's no growth. I'm sorry, it's true. But she's a good housewife, okay? Again, I'm not saying she's a good person, but good housewife. But yeah, she says either way, it doesn't matter because it's illegal to record someone without their consent. And the thing that Katie recorded was not a meltdown. Okay. She's correct. It doesn't matter. Shannon could be having the meltdown of a lifetime. You still shouldn't record someone without their consent. I stand by that. I don't like when people do stuff like that or reveal people's private texts. I'm never down for that, but don't say that you weren't having a meltdown. Because if you weren't having a meltdown, she would not have recorded you. Let's just be honest. She's not just gonna like record you to like show her husband like a normal conversation. No, it's because it was something outrageous that she wanted to share with him. Let's just be real. And again, it doesn't make it right. I'm just saying that that's what happened. And then Shannon is asked about filming Kelly's breakdown in season 11. Shannon says that it was different because they were told by production to pick up their phones and record if something happened once filming went down. And Andy kind of, you know, Andy kind of co-signs that, but I have to say, I my first thought at first I thought they were talking about the Ireland trip in the on the bus or whatever, where they all started recording and everyone was going crazy. But then I realized it wasn't that, because people have been posting the clips, and it was from when they were in the hotel room or the hotel hallway. Listen, I get kind of what Shannon's saying, like they were on a cast trip, all that kind of, like, I understand the context was a bit different, but I still think that it was shady. Like, I still think that Kelly didn't know she was being recorded in that moment, and she was, and they were kind of weaponizing it against her later. So I still think that it kind of counts as a comparison. Now, again, it still doesn't justify what Katie did, but I think what the audience is looking for is for Shannon to just have a little bit more forgiveness for Katie and to give her a little bit more leniency than she is, because she is acting like this is like the worst offense that has ever been done to her since she's been on reality TV, and it just isn't. It really isn't, Shannon. Okay? It just isn't. So yeah, that was kind of the key points from the interview. Now, Tamra, of course, had something to say on social media in response to Andy asking this question to Shannon and her answer about it. About like being recorded and all that kind of stuff. And Tamra said, "Wait, didn't you record Kelly one season and Vicky and her boyfriend fighting while she took care of you after your DUI?" Oh, okay. But also, whose side are you on, Tamra? Tamara is a friend to literally no one. Like, I just it is like, I was eh, maybe we're not far enough into the season and more things are gonna happen, but based on what I've seen of the season so far, it seems like Tamra is kind of like in this whole group of Katie takedown and like saying that Katie recording was the worst thing. Tamra's also the one who brought that tea forward. She was the one who knew about it and brought it on camera. And then, yeah, Gina spilled it from there. But still, Tamra's the one who brought it up when she was, yeah, like she's the one who brought it up on camera. So I'm kind of like, so are you on Shannon's side about this or are you not? Because it's like now it's almost like now that Tamara is seeing maybe the way the audience is supporting Katie, it's like now Tamara's like kind of jumping ship. Like it's just you cannot trust this woman, okay? Even though she might have a point in this case. Meanwhile, a on Twitter, at Rick Zampain posted about Tamara showing the old pics of Jen, I guess before she started like working out or whatever, and saying like basically you're gross for calling her heavy and all that kind of stuff. Jen Pedrante did respond and she said, "It's okay. She knows no other way. It shows massive insecurity. Okay, okay. You're still hot. Nobody cares. Next." Yeah, exactly. Like it just shows, like, you can tell Tamara is so threatened by Jen. It's like Jen is like a hotter version of Tamara. Sorry, but it's true. And you can tell that Jen is just generally like happier in her life and more well liked by the audience. Like the list goes on. And you can tell Tamara is like, okay, let me make it out like this woman is like, single white femaling me, when literally like every woman in OC is like blonde and has breast implants. Like you're not special, Tamara. Sorry. Meanwhile, in an interview with on the podcast called Housewives Nightcap, Gina says she will not come back next season if Katie comes back. Can we get that in writing, Gina? I hope that's not a threat. I hope it's a promise. Okay. Like that would be a dream. The idea of Katie being the one to push Gina out, it's like somebody up there loves me. I don't know what else to say. Like, Gina, this threat is not doing what you think it's doing. No one is concerned about losing you, or Emily for that matter. Like, you guys have had an okay run. I'm not even going to call it a good run. They've had an okay run. We've all just sort of accepted them because Bravo's just forced us to. But now it's at the point of like, run along. Like, we're good. You guys have lasted way longer. In my head, they're still newbies, even though they've been on it for like almost a decade. So it's like, okay, just we're good. Thanks. Meanwhile, Jen Pedranti is clearing up some rumors on social media. So Jen says, in response to like who reached out to whom, because this is becoming a whole thing, and Gretchen saying like housewives reach out to me all the time about like, how do I handle Tamra, etc. And then I guess Tamra was like trying to say that is not true and you're the one who's reaching out to them. And, Gretchen is saying, no, they reach out to me. And then Jen basically came on and was like, okay, I'm not sure why this stuff matters. I reached out to at Gretchen Rossi. I don't feel right with her being made to look like she sought me out. She did not. Okay. So then she posts a screenshot of her first DM and it is initiated by Jen. And it says, I would love to talk to you sometime, XO. And then Gretchen responds, hi, love, reach out anytime. And then the phone number is obviously blacked out. So yeah, that kind of clears it up. Because of course of course Tamara is going to be like, no, Gretchen reaches out to them because she just wants to spread more shit about me, da da da. She doesn't need to, because every friend that you bring on the show, you terrorize them. So yeah, they're going to reach out to her probably after being terrorized, but fine. They still reach out to her. Like, how do I handle this Tamara crap, basically? Meanwhile, Tamara also posted on Twitter a meme of that the famous Sutton being like, name 'em. And then Tamara says, didn't think the lies would start this early in the season, but here we are. And then she posts some screenshots of Gretchen commenting on Instagram saying, I know this feeling all too well. I'm sorry you were blindsided, in response to like Jen being blindsided by Tamara. I never really understood why certain cast members think other people's relationships are any of their business or that they get to have any say in them. It's weird and pathetic. Stay strong, girl. And then Jen responds and says, you definitely have walked in these shoes. It's not easy, as you know. Thanks for reaching out. Let's connect. XO. So Tamara is posting this as her receipts to be like, well, see, Gretchen, you're the one who's commenting. But Gretchen is making like a public comment on an Instagram basically. I don't know why I said baby, basically. And Jen is responding to that. And I don't know what it proves, because in it, Jen is the one that says, let's connect. So I don't know, like that doesn't prove that Gretchen reaches out, Tamara. I'm sorry. I think you're confused. And then Jen posted that screenshot of their DM to further solidify that Tamara is a dummy in this case. Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, Emily was on Watch What Happens Live, and she talked about the whole like recording thing. And she says she was shocked by it. She's seen many Shannon meltdowns and she's never been compelled to get her phone out and record it with. I love how she just, I've seen many Shannon meltdowns. Like, it's like there's no argument that the Shannon meltdowns are not a common occurrence. And it's just still so funny to me that Shannon was trying to say she got better. Especially, I forgot to mention this before, especially since we just watched you on not at Love Island, Love Hotel. And you were melting down left, right, and center on that show. And that was supposed to be like a light, fun show. Like, okay, never change. Shannon, please. She said, so Emily says, so learning Katie did that, I was just like, it's another chalk up there to this deceitful behavior. Okay. She also says, because Andy asks her about, well, a lot of fans are asking about the hypocrisy of you bringing up Katie's like custody battle and like Katie's whole history and all this stuff at the reunion last year. And Emily says, well, to me, it's a huge difference. I brought it up to her face at a reunion when we're supposed to be opinionated, take accountability for things. And I had issues with her backstory. It wasn't about her children. It was about her and things that she had told us. And I wanted her to clarify things. And also I did it publicly to her face. What she does was behind closed doors in the dark. Okay, I need to break this down. First of all, you brought it up to her face at a reunion when we're supposed to be opinionated, take accountability for things. So you're not supposed to be opinionated like all the time? Isn't that not like the trait of a good housewife, to be opinionated? Do you not have to be opinionated while you're filming the show as well? And then she talks about taking accountability. Why does Katie need to take accountability for something that happened a long time ago that has no relation to the storylines on the show or to her relationship with you? And then you're going to tell us that it wasn't about her children. It was about her and the things that she had told us. No, it was about her children. When you are coming at a mom and saying that, for the mother to lose custody, that must mean she did something real bad, or pretty much implying that, yeah, that is about her children. I'm sorry. Okay, fine. You could argue it's about her parenting, but it's still about the custody of her children, which ended up being related to like, a divorce where it seems like there was domestic violence or blow ups and things like that. So it was the dirtiest, grossest thing that has been brought up in any relationship to children on this show. Okay. And Katie could make the same argument, I'd like to say. What she brought up was not like bad mouthing Emily's children. It was just saying that Emily's children said, like, oh, yeah, Heather Dubrow, she's mean, which was funny. First of all, everybody loved it because Heather Dubrow is mean. And of course, your kids think that. We all think that. My kid probably knows Heather Dubrow is mean, and I'm not even a housewife. Heather Dubrow is mean. That's a fact. I'm sorry. And everyone talks shit and doesn't always mean to, but might by accident have their kids overhear something. It's no one thought Emily was the devil for that. What people thought Emily was the devil for was all this stuff. And it's like she has it's like you're just so scared of Heather Dubrow that you just can't admit that you may have said something bad about her once to Shane and your kids might have overheard. Like, what's the big deal? Like, it was just it's so stupid. Okay, it's all ridiculous. Is that it for OC? I think that, yeah, I think that's it for OC. Okay, let's go to Real Housewives of Atlanta next. So, the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 has wrapped up. I think it was a good season. Was it a great season? No. Was it a terrible, horrible season? Also, definitely no. People trying to make it out to be that, or just, I feel like people just, the standards are too high for Atlanta. And for some reason, it feels like it's held to a higher standard than some of the other shows. Like the season of Atlanta was better than a lot of other seasons that people say are good from other franchises. So I don't like, I really enjoyed this season. I thought the reunion was good too. Did it need 3 parts? No, 2 parts would have been fine. Even one, maybe. I didn't think the reunion needed that much, but I still enjoyed it. That being said, I enjoyed it very much. Um, and, the Portia Shamia of it all has made its way over to social media, of course, with Portia posting some receipts. So Portia says, hashtag RHOA unseen receipts from reunion episode 2. Slide 1 is lie number 1. So she says, this is Queen Shamia's first wedding. I'm by her side as a bridesmaid. Location, Atlanta. Second wedding was in Africa. And then she references the interview from the Breakfast Club. Shamia stated, I only had one wedding, and clearly she had 2. Slide 2 is lie number 2. I sent Shamia flowers to congratulate my bestie for joining RHOA. Her video she made thanking me, followed by an excited congratulatory phone call I made to her, as well as lengthy caption on Instagram post. 4 slides of peach photos of excitement celebrating Queen Shamia as a full-time housewife and peach holder. Okay. So those are, Portia's evidence that she did congratulate her, that she was at her wedding. Now, Shamia responds and says, again, I had one wedding that took place in Nairobi, Kenya. What you attended was my dowry ceremony in my mom's backyard, which, yeah, I do think that's a little different. Like, I understand that Portia's viewpoint is like, well, I couldn't make it to the one in Kenya, so I went to the one in Atlanta. That was the one I could make it to. And it was also like a pretty big celebration. So it was kind of like the second wedding you have in Atlanta for the people who cannot make it overseas. Like, I see what she's saying. However, it wasn't her technical wedding. So I understand that. Second, you sent flowers my birthday week just before we started filming. I'd had my peach for over a month. I only said we never celebrated. You can keep your fake receipts with your fake ass friendship. It's crazy how I can be considered your lapdog for riding so hard for you, but at the same time, you say I was trying to sabotage you. Make it make sense. Since I got my peach, you've been trying to find a reason to end this friendship. You're unbelievable. Oh, that's not good. So listen, I think Shamia has a point. in the sense of like the whole wedding thing, and also like sending the congratulations a month after she got the peach is not good, and it does kind of make it seem like she's doing it for appearances. But I can also see kind of what Portia's saying in the sense of like, don't say I didn't congratulate you when I did a congratulations and I did send flowers, etc. Like, listen, they're both being petty and they're both, Portia is, kind of gives like the bad vibes in the friendship, like the vibes of like, well, I love you. You're my bestie. Here's flowers. But like you can tell like underneath there's like this layer of like unhappiness, like she doesn't want Shamia on the show. But then on the other side, Shamia's not helping it by kind of like, talking to other people about their friendship. And, you know, it kind of seems like Shamia latched onto that for a storyline. So I do think that they both have faults. So then Portia responds and says, P.S. Shamia Morton lying again in her latest post. She claims flowers were were for her birthday when the card I sent on flowers clearly say love and congratulations queen. For her getting a peach. Wedding definition, a marriage ceremony, especially considered as including the associated celebrations. Going out sad sis, Delulu. Going out sad sis, Delulu. And you better not edit it either. Again, just because you say the definition of a wedding doesn't mean that her dowry ceremony is the same thing. I don't really know what a dowry ceremony is, so I can't really speak on it, but I do know people who've had weddings overseas and then have had like a smaller, just kind of like backyard celebration, etc., for the people who couldn't make it. So, it may not be their official wedding. It's kind of like a mini just party or whatever. And yeah, again, the people who come to that one are not like shaded because they can't come overseas. However, I think it's the way that Portia lied about the reasons that she couldn't come overseas. Like when you change it from like it's a medical thing and then you change it to it's because we were beefing, that's where you start to look guilty, right? Meanwhile, Drew is posting some receipts because she did buy that Judith Lieber bag. Okay. So she posts some receipts from Bergdorf Goodman showing that I did buy the bag and it is a real bag and it was $6,142.70. And she shows her receipt and she ats Shamia Morton in it to show that, I did buy that and that, this is the real value, etc. And then Shamia responds and says, at Drew Sidora with them fake receipts. It was a nice bag, sis. As you can see, I have the knockoff version as well. And she shows like a comparison picture between Drew's bag and then the real Judith Lieber bag. I mean, they look the same. Like I don't like a screenshot from a TV show when it's like in motion is not going to look the same as the like polished website picture. Like it's just not. I'm sorry. Like I don't think this really proves anything. And then somebody tagged Judith Lieber and said, "Does this bag belong to you?" Okay. And then Judith Lieber responded and said, "This is the Judith Lieber Couture Martini Cosmopolitan bag." So Judith Lieber says it's the real bag. So can we put this to rest, Shamia? You've lost. Now, Shamia tried to like come back and say more stuff. I'm not even going to entertain it because people were like, Shamia, just stop. Like the reunion's over. You lost. It's coming off sad at this point, which I totally agree, to be honest. Meanwhile, Kenya has some things to say. Number one, she is not going to be returning for season 17. I'm so disappointed. I just think that Kenya with this particular cast especially would work so well. Like get rid of Shamia. She's just not needed. I could do without Kelly too. Get Kenya on. I think Kenya and Angela would be fantastic together. I just think it would be great. I just really think it would be great. I think it's just such a bummer that she's not going to be on there. Like, I think she made her apology. I think her apology was like a good one. The one that she made that Andy read at the reunion. The fact that he read it made me feel like there was some hope, but I don't know what's going on. So I don't know. She might have made like the big mistake, which is that she kind of talked shit about Bravo after all this happened, and then she kind of walked it back after. So that could always be what bit her in the ass. So she confirms that she's not returning. And she also says that Bravo is adding two new housewives, a business owner, and a former Love and Hip Hop cast member. Now, I don't watch Love and Hip Hop, but I have seen a ton of tweets on my feed, people talking about how, if it's this person, that person, it's a huge mistake. There's only one person from Love and Hip Hop that they think could fit into the cast and would make sense. The rest of them, are not the right like fit for the show or whatever. So I can't speak to it. I'm not against taking someone from another reality show, but they have to be the right fit for Real Housewives, which is a very particular brand. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not against it. I just want good TV. That's all I want. Kenya makes it clear as well that Portia's claims at the reunion are false, that she did not get Britt Eadie's information from Drew or any current housewife. And I'm sorry, I believe Kenya. Portia lies just too often for me to just take her word for things. And, I believe Drew and Kenya in this case over her. Meanwhile, Shamia posts this whole like YouTube video. It looks very professional that she made where she's basically apologizing to all the cast members and says, "I'm sorry and I hope we can start fresh. I wish you nothing but the best." And then she has like this like slow piano kind of emotional music, and then it like shows clips of each woman from this season, and she's like, "I'm sorry to Angela and to Drew and to Portia and it's really, really cheesy and just not a housewives move. And it's just kind of like she's going out so sad, and it's just like, Shamia, you're just proving, like, I don't know if you think this will give you a better chance to get another season, but you're kind of just proving why you're just not made for this housewives thing, and that's okay. I just don't think Shamia is right for this platform, right? I don't know what else to say. I think that's it. Okay. Okay, let's go to what do else we got? Let's go to Real Housewives of Miami because we do have some news about that. So, Lisa Hochstein was on Watch What Happens Live. And in reference to Lenny's new 24-year-old girlfriend, Lisa says, anything is better than the last one. Ooh, good shots fired. She also says that her and Lenny's mom still have a good relationship because he has a new girlfriend. So that's kind of like people are like, so is that like getting in the way of, the relationship with the mom or whatever? Um, but apparently it's not. They have a good relationship. Like we said, she came to the premiere of Real Housewives of Miami party. She came to the premiere party, looked after the kids, all that. I think Lenny's mom is kind of one of those people who it's like doesn't know what she has until it's gone. Like, I think all those years she was like looking at Lisa as like the worst thing that could happen to her son, and her son could like do so much better and etc. And then she realized the kind of women that her son is into. And since Lisa, she's like, oh shit, Lisa was actually like the best of the bunch. And, these new ones he's getting are like just even worse. And yeah, these are now you're seeing like real gold diggers, like legit, like intense. I was like insane. That's my mix of intense and insane gold diggers. So now I think she's kind of like, oh, I miss the Lisa days. I really think that's what's happening. I wouldn't be surprised if she's like behind closed doors, like telling Lenny he needs to get back with Lisa. I really wouldn't. Meanwhile, Gertie on Watch What Happens Live says Larsa is a hypocrite with her whole situation with Lisa. With being mad at Lisa about like, still being friends with Marcus Jordan and all that. She says, because back when, and we're really going back when Kim and Kanye broke up, Larsa kept talking to Kanye. And that was maybe part of their friendship fallout. And Andy's like, oh, we're going back there. And Gertie's like, well, it's hypocritical. Now, I mean, I don't think that's the strongest argument because that didn't involve Lisa. I understand it is hypocritical, but again, we don't know the nuances of that situation. We just kind of known what we were shown on like a TV show, so I don't know. But at face value, based on what she says, yeah, it does sound hypocritical. But, that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, Lisa is 100% right or anything like that. Um, Alexia, in an interview, meanwhile, says that she wishes she had done more when Julia threw the drink on Gertie. So there's a lot of backtracking now that they have seen the audience's reaction. And, you know, it's annoying because it's kind of like, is that what you authentically think? Or are you just saying that now because you're getting audience backlash? So Alexia does say that she was in shock and she wishes she had done more in the moment. So, well, maybe in the future do what's right instead of just like, you know, taking the side of like the person who's on your quote unquote team. Right. And I do think that I do think that Alexia sees Gertie still as that kind of like Dr. Nicole team. And that's a team that she doesn't like. And I think she kind of got Julia over to her team. So she's like going to be sticking up for Julia. But trust me, once, you know, if Gertie leaves, for example, I really think these women will turn on Julia. I really do. And I meant to kind of go back to this before when I was talking about Lisa on Watch What Happens Live, but Lenny has gone public with his new girlfriend. She is 25 years old. Her name is Alina Kovalenko. She is a model living with him just 1 month after meeting. Okay, you can go check out her Instagram. It's interesting to say the least. The least, sorry. So the name is Alina Kovalenko. Trust me, go look. Okay. Let's go to some Next Gen NYC news. Great show, by the way. Highly recommend. If you have not watched it, easy catch up too. It's only 8 episodes. Next Gen NYC had a fantastic season and the total viewers has been released 5.4 million. Most watch series and season premiere of all time for Bravo. Wow. I'm shocked at that. But like I get it. It was it was a good first season. So yeah, congratulations to them. They are, riding on that high wave. And, Riley really came out as like the star of the show, her and Ariana especially. And Riley was on Watch What Happens Live recently, and she shares, she talked about her new man. So she has a new mystery boyfriend. She is not sharing him with the world yet. She says she just gave us kind of a glimpse into her new relationship. So there's like a picture of her kissing, it's like a mirror selfie. She's kissing someone, but you can only see like little tiny side top of his head and his back is facing us. You know, and she's obviously giving this guy a kiss. So, yeah, we are excited to maybe learn who this guy is. And she's already playing the reality TV game well, hiding it, keep him a mystery. And then we can learn more next season, keep people interested. So, yeah, it seems like things are on the up and up for Riley. And maybe we'll have a new cast member coming around next season. And, this is kind of the good thing when you do have a younger cast like this is like, you watch them grow and you watch them try to establish lives and maybe you want to get married. Like they're all in that, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing phase. And that in itself can be entertaining. So I think that is part of the reason it's a good show. Speaking of where am I going in life, etc., we have some Southern hospitality news because Will announces that he will not be returning to season 4. Okay. It has already started filming, by the way, season 4. So he made this announcement on Instagram and he said, a little update. The new season has started filming and unsurprisingly, I will not be a part of it this year. I will likely never film a second of reality TV ever again. It has been a horrible experience and a life lesson. Yeah, I mean, I think it was horrible for him, because he was kind of like the target of every storyline, if we're being honest. And it's also horrible when you cheat on your girlfriend and people call you on it on camera. So, I mean, some of it's because of his actions, let's be honest. My question is, will Emmy still be filming? Like, I don't know. Emmy is so entertaining. Like, she's like a good reality TV star. So, she needs to stay. I hope she does. But, I don't know how much she's going to bring without Will around, though, because a lot of her, like, kind of funny moments were Will related. So I don't know. We'll see. He also says a big thanks to some cast, some production, Andy Cohen, and all of the crew for the seasons past. You know who you are. Your kindness and professionalism are rare occurrences in the industry. Wow, so he's got a lot of shade for the production and for this show, which he needs to be careful because you never know. You literally never know, right? Like, if this show goes on to be like one of the biggest hits and has like, it hasn't reached its peak yet, in my opinion. And, if I don't know, if the cast lives go in all these exciting directions and they get like crazy opportunity, like he could be regretting this. I'm just saying he could. Best of luck to this new season. I hope it can be entertaining without a defamatory storyline or the unwanted use of my name, image, and likeness. When it is appropriate, I will talk more about experiences with production and the network, which led to this decision. Okay. I am happy to be moving on, and I will be cheering Emmy on from the sidelines with the rest of you. Oh, okay. So Emmy is staying. See, this is why I need to read to the end before recording. I kind of read, like, skimmed it, and I didn't read that last line. But yes, okay, good. I'm glad Emmy's going to be there. I wonder how much he will be spoken about since he's not actually going to be on the show. It is hard when the person's not there. So, you know what, though? I think it's good too, though, because the cast has been kind of like falling back on him for a storyline for some time. And I do think that they need to find other things to talk about, including themselves, especially some of the guys. So, but we'll see. We do have some Salt Lake City news today. Angie and Mary have discussed the state of their friendship in an interview and said, right now, we're in a rough spot. She can get on my nerves a little bit, and I probably get on hers. We will always be thick as thieves. So that's what Mary says in an interview with Betches. And then Angie says, it's a real friendship and we always work through it. We are learning and growing and becoming more honest with each other. And when you do that, you are going to have disagreements. So clearly something has happened this season. The Salt Lake City women were at the Culturistas Awards, and it seemed like everybody was like, they took a group picture. Everyone was standing like kind of in a tight group, body language all facing towards each other, except Heather and Lisa, who were standing on the side, the two of them facing each other and away from the rest of the group. So you can kind of tell what's going on in terms of the season and who's getting along and who's not. So am I surprised? No. Am I surprised that Heather and Lisa are kind of on the outs with everyone? Not at all. Not at all. Because that's just so them. And it's like so Heather to just. Heather will blindly follow Lisa Barlow into hell. She really will. Like, just no question. But I hope Angie and Mary can work out whatever, because they are one of my favorite friendship duos on reality TV. And if I have to watch them break up, I will cry. Please don't. I can't handle that. Lastly, in some Potomac or former Potomac, I don't know, whatever we want to call it, news, Mia Thornton is kind of updating us about her life. She says her and G are not back together. We do not see each other every day. We do see each other every day and are deeply involved with raising our children together, and that she's so grateful. And then she says, yes, I'm single, not by choice, because people were kind of picking up some clues from online that her and Ink may have maybe done so for real this time, and basically says, not by choice, Ink decided he didn't want to wait any longer to take our relationship to the next step, and I'm not ready nor in a position to enter another marriage right now. So Ink ended it because he wants to get married and she doesn't. I don't know if I believe that. Do I believe he ended it? Yeah. Why is maybe another story. Let's just be honest. I don't know why. Do I think it's because of that? Not really. Um, so she says, I've been married combined in both marriages for 15 years. I think it's fair to date and spend time with me. Although, please note, I was deeply in love with him, but actions following the separation are placing a deep wound that may not be repaired on both sides. Keeping it real. Well, I mean, we don't know if you're keeping it real, Mia, because you're just one of the biggest liars on reality TV. Then she talks about her work-life balance. She talks about her glow up, which some people have been pointing out, but I don't trust it because although she does look better, there's also a lot of filters. So like, how are we to know if it's a real glow up? Like, I don't trust anything she posts to not be heavily edited. Anyways, she says she's working on herself, still calling herself a founder and CEO. of the House of Mia Moore and the Messy Mia method, whatever those are. Oh, luxury home organization launching soon. Mia is not who I would have thought of for luxury house organization, but I don't know. Maybe she's super organized. I mean, she no longer lives in a luxury home, so there's that, but who the fuck knows? She's crazy. Okay. All right, everyone. I think that's it for our second part. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're looking for Vanderpump Rules Valley and Beverly Hills, head over to part 1, and you are now in the know for everything Bravo. See you next time. Bye. Thanks for listening, everyone. Your support really means everything to me, and this show wouldn't be possible without you, the listeners. So please, if you enjoyed the podcast, leave a 5-star rating and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. For more, you can join my Patreon, patreon.com/Bravo and Botox. And for $5 a month, you'll get 4 extra podcast episodes a month. You'll also get early releases of Bravo Paper episodes and more. Please also subscribe to my YouTube channel at The Bravo Papers and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at Bravo and Botox, and at The Bravo Papers. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, you can at buymeacoffee.com/Bravo and Botox. Send your love through some much needed caffeine. And any guest that was on today's episode will be in the show notes, all their social media and contact information. So thank you so much, everyone. Keep overanalyzing Bravo.